We are going to be live here momentarily, if not now. If you are a subscriber to our channel, you should be getting a butt buzz about now. And yeah, I think it looks like we are actually. And hello, it's Heidi. Not that I'm talking to anybody. And we'll introduce once we come back. I'm going to go ahead and run a quick ad if I can get my mouse up there. There it is. Okay. So ads are running. People can still see us. Subscribers can still. I like to warn people of that. Subscribers.
I just have to make sure my pants are still on, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You can still say everything. And yes, we are a mature channel, so feel free to just speak freely. They have to hit a button and say that they're 18 or older to actually watch us. So,
nice. Yeah, well, we can trust them to do the right thing.
Right? People are gonna be like, John, who are you interviewing? I had to hit a mature channel thing.
It just increases the interest, you know.
Exactly. Okay, let me just doing a little sound check there. We have it. That's a good thing. Let me share real quick. In case people want to know that we're on. Hey, we're live. Are we? I think we are. We are. Okay. She does that to me all the time. Public. And then I'm going to go to Girls Game 2 and do the same thing. And you should be able to go on Facebook if you want and just share that on your page as well.
Awesome.
If you want. You might not want to, but. Okay.
There we go. Let's see.
Publish. Okay. All right. So it is. Hello, welcome viewers. Yeah, I'm sitting here talking up to the heavens. Hello, welcome viewers. I'm Heidi. This is
Sadie.
And we are Girls Game 2. Welcome. And today we have something really special for you guys. I'm calling it the Spotlight Hour. And today we are spotlighting an author, I'm going to say a new friend of mine. We're just gonna call you that. And you are an established author, because you already have one book published, which is actually a compilation, correct, of articles you wrote for a magazine?
That's right. And then fitted them all in together into an anthology kind of format and published that just before, it's been about 5 years now.
Oh, okay. So a little while. So yeah, I was reading. I got so many backgrounds. Let me introduce you first. So everybody, yeah, this is John M McKeel. Is there a reason why we use the M? Is there another McKeel that?
There is. There's my dad actually. And he's actually published as well. But nice. He publishes devotionals and that kind of motivational pamphlet. So I didn't want people to accidentally buy one of my books expecting to be uplifted.
Perfect. That is so perfect. Because that segues right into that question I had about, I saw that you grew up as a PK. And
right.
Yeah, I was not technically a PK, but I was pretty darn close. And all my friends were PKs. And right. Yeah, and for those who are not in the know, a PK is a preacher's kid, which is I think you would agree, a whole different breed of person.
Absolutely. You're straddling several fences at the same time.
You are. Yeah, for your entire life. And yeah, even after they're gone, God rest your souls, I love you. And
it's almost as bad as growing up in a politician's family.
Yes, I would totally agree. I know a few of those kids too. Right? Another PK.
Oh man, I feel bad for them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially the ones that had to deal with Secret Service. But we won't go through that. But I want to know, I'm kind of curious, growing up that way, and I think it did based on some of the stuff I read in your bio, but did it affect your writing in any way, do you think?
Oh, absolutely.
You feel?
Yeah, no, absolutely. A large part of being a preacher's kid is listening to the same stories day in, day out, ad nauseum, and then smiling and nodding the whole time. So you gotta imagine after a while, you start analyzing what it is that you're hearing beyond just the intended message. How's the delivery versus last time, or that's a change in pace, or you add in a little bit of a guffaw there, and did that work, or did nobody buy it? Or did the guy with Parkinson's in the front row wake up?
It's almost you realize. I don't want to sound sacrilegious saying this, but you almost realize how much theater is in religion.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No, the stage performance aspect is really enlightening, and you're almost a natural critic by the time you're in junior high, which isn't a great combination going into junior high.
Oh my God, I feel like I'm in therapy all of a sudden.
I know.
Okay, so you have had. I was trying to figure. It's like I was reading all this, and I'm like, everything is done. You should be like 80 years old, dude.
I feel about 80 years old. Yeah. You watch the action movies, and the guy jumps off a crane onto a bridge, and he rolls out of it and is able to keep fighting the bad guy. Yeah, they don't tell you that you get to do that once, but then you feel the effects for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, unlike a video game, you don't get extra lives. You kind of follow through with what's left after the fact.
Yeah. So you were both. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this, in the Navy and the Army. I didn't even know that was possible.
It's rarefied air, as we say.
It really is.
Yeah. Fun story. I was in basic training the second time, and one of my drill instructors had done the same thing, except he had been Air Force Special Forces before going into the Army. Wow. And so we both had a good laugh about bad choices. And
we apologize, Danny, Air Force or Navy.
We don't apologize at all.
She's Army.
My brother's in the Navy. my dad was in the Air Force.
Was Navy, so yeah. I get the hierarchy that you're talking about. Okay, I do. I totally get the hierarchy you're talking about.
You make fun of the guys from the Air Force, but really deep down, you could have made better choices. But I get to another unit, and I've got a guy who's a Marine, or who decided that the Army was a better choice. So that was interesting.
I bet you that was.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go with the Marine joke.
It's not very common.
No, it's not. Now, you were in the Naval Academy, is that correct? Is that how that happened?
That's right. For a brief term. Just enough.
Over in Annapolis, right?
That's right, yeah. The Naval Academy is in Annapolis, Maryland, and it's a fantastic school if you want to be an engineer. I wanted to be a writer, so not a great fit.
No.
Yeah. Everybody who graduates there gets a science degree.
Right.
Whether you're an engineer, a political science major, arts department doesn't exist, so it's interesting. But I love math now. Back then, I wasn't really a big fan.
Ooh, that goes with engineering.
Yeah, it does. Like I said, bad choices. But
do you think it's bad choices, or do you think that it was just youth? Because I know I had a hell of a time deciding what I wanted. I changed my major as many degrees as you have. And so I'm wondering if that it was partly that. Do you think? Just youth?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, it was a challenge, and I like taking them on, and sometimes I get a little carried away, and I go too far with it. Going into a science degree generating institution, having failed out of trigonometry, but quit before I got an F, maybe I should have picked up on that trend ahead of time. I ended up leaving because I had a mathematically irrecoverable GPA.
I like
So
that. That was well said.
That meant that by the end of the school year, there was no chance of me passing anything. And
I've been there.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Right.
When I chose the wrong major, so I get that completely.
Yeah. But like I said, there's no escaping those core classes at the Naval Academy. So if you're not making it, you're not making it. But I figured Edgar Allan Poe also failed out of the military academy. That's the
West Point, yes.
And so I took some solace in that. I might be in good company. Who knows? Read the book and tell me.
I am excited to do that, and I'm kind of also curious. Now, I'm going to let you give us a little synopsis of the book before I start asking questions on it.
Awesome.
Yeah, but all this stuff, I kind of want to keep going a little bit on this journey that got you to the book, because I found it's really fascinating that, so then you joined the Army and you were in Iraq. Was that your first experience with Kurds and the Kurdish culture?
It was actually, and we had folks there in that culture in Iraq and several others, Turkey. The Kurds are really looked down on. And you can tell who the low person on the totem pole is by the job that they do.
Okay.
So, if you're one of the less appreciated social groups, you get the jobs like cleaning out the toilets.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Fun fact, everybody uses toilets. I think people have written books about that.
Yeah, everybody poops.
Right. And so you end up running into those people and, trying to figure out what the social situation was. You always kind of talk to those people because they see everybody and everything and nobody sees them. So, I got to know some of that. And then later on, fast forward a few years, I'm in nursing school, and I actually have a couple of friends in school who are Kurdish. So, in different circumstances, maybe a little bit more socially enlightening conversation as opposed to, how bad do I have to be on my guard here?
Yeah.
The Kurdish people are excellent. They're really, again, it goes back to the preacher's kid topic a little bit.
I was wondering.
You've got different religions.
Yep.
All in the same area, and they don't like each other for a lot of different reasons. But everybody doesn't like these people because, well, you know how the Catholic faith, you pray to intercessories.
Right. Yeah, the saints. Yes.
So well, in one offshoot of the Kurdish people's religion, you pray to, Lucifer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting recasting of the character.
Very, because it's because they believe there's like guardian angels that are actually watching over Earth, and God has left it in. I did a little reading, just a little, cool. and because I truthfully did not have a lot of knowledge about the Kurdish culture before, reading about your book. And I'm like, well, this is fascinating to me that he chose this. One, it's very fascinating that your main character is a woman. We are going to talk about that. And two, that she's a Kurdish woman. And I thought, I was hoping you would connect that PK thing, because I was really like, I want to know. All right, so this is the PK and me, Tower of Babel. So there's so many different dialects in Kurdish, and they come from Mesopotamia, and they claim to be, from the memes. I know we're getting really into biblical history here, but could it be? I mean, could they be possibly descendants of the Tower of Babel? And we're seeing this now in modern age. And was that part of maybe what fascinated you? I'm just curious.
Yeah. It was that, plus I was like an underdog, that's a very American trait.
Yes.
And, I love it when people choose something that it doesn't. They don't do it to intentionally antagonize their neighbors, but they
Okay.
stick to their guns because that's important to them, and everybody else turns against them because of it. That makes for great dramatic tension.
It does.
So the idea that my representative on the celestial plane is everybody else's villain, that is just so heavy. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting. The story is that Satan wouldn't bow to humans,
Right.
and God had said every angel has to bow to my new creation, and it was because Satan loved God so much that he would not put he wouldn't lower that pedestal.
So I'm going to go right into it then. Would you say
Yeah.
that it was Lucifer's reverence for God
Yeah.
that caused his downfall? Because I know you said the most overrated value, I think is how you put it, is reverence. I found that fascinating. I loved the way you wrote that out. You finally put words to what I have been trying to say and not been able to iterate for practically my entire life. Do you want to go into that a little?
Well, I was just going to comment that the lovely thing about being a writer as opposed to a preacher, somebody who stands up in front of people and delivers lines and so forth, is that you can take as long as you need to get the words just right on paper. And being able to do it live like this to people in an audience and not have them throw vegetables at you is a real talent.
I turned off that tomato feature. They can't do that to us.
Thank God.
So I'm going to tell me how to say the title of your name because I don't want to butcher it. The title of your book, sorry. Not your name.
No problem. That's what gave me pause.
Yes.
I don't have a title right now. GireSun Island.
GireSun. Okay.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Oh, that's a great story, actually. I love this one. So, and I think you will too. GireSun Island's a real place in the Black Sea.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And if you look at a map of American cities, they're all named after somewhere else.
Yes.
I'm going to Paris. Well, that's great. I love the Eiffel Tower. I'm like, no. Paris, Texas. Right. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to go anymore. Same thing here. GireSun Island was kind of like a rendezvous point for the historical people who were labeled as the Amazons.
Okay.
So this is actually a tribe on the shores of the Black Sea who used to drink an alcoholic beverage from fermented milk.
Oh, yes.
They used to smoke up all kinds of weird stuff, cannabis and other things.
I'm liking these women.
Yeah, and the women fought next to the men and were actually more well regarded than the men. Men kind of took a back seat, if you will. They were horsemen. They were, hand-to-hand combat, archers, what have you. And it was, again, when you violate somebody else's idea of what's right and wrong, right? My cultural norms get exploded. I get angry. The same thing happened to the Greeks. You've got these women who ride horses, sail ships, shoot things, and then party up after they've killed off everybody in the village.
Yeah.
That's not how women are supposed to act. So I'm going to get angry about it. I'm gonna call all kinds of mean names and write it down, which they don't have a language, so everybody's going to forget about you, and then I can make up the stories as I want. And if you look in the ancient literature, the Amazons are not heroes.
No, they're not. They're slaves. Yeah.
Yeah. And they self-mutilate and they kill off baby boys and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But none of it was true.
No.
But we see it today. You have a powerful woman who's doing things that men are afraid of, then you're going to get shit on. So. this became an actual historical place due to an excavation on GireSun Island. It's changed hands over the millennia. I think it belongs to Turkey right now.
Okay.
But they found an altar with horse bones where the Amazons used to meet up and make sacrifices. It's kind of like, when you have a gang that meets up at the ABC parking lot before they go on their raid. Then, they do the same thing. They come out, sacrifice to their gods, drink it up, get back in the boat, and they just kind of, roll down like Gangster's Paradise across the Black Sea to go raid somebody. So, yeah. And I thought that was a great name for what I was trying to achieve with my book.
Oh, yes, yeah. I was going to get there. I just wanted to tell a little more about that book. But yeah, we'll segue right into that since, so if your book, we'll go ahead and throw that question out there. If your book and your characters were a game, what kind of game do you think that they would be?
I'm thinking a 4X type game, where you've got multiple people doing things simultaneously. You've got, this guy's out for pillage and plunder. This one's trying to build a civilization. And then, of course, those two are going to come to loggerheads, and somebody's going to win.
Nice. I like that. Maybe one of the game designers I know will take your book and make it into one.
So why don't you tell us about your book? Give us an overview, the summary, the elevator pitch, whatever you want to call it.
Nice. I like it. Okay. Well, we talked about the Kurdish influence. This young woman named GireSun ends up losing her family and most of her village in an airstrike in southern Iran, not southern Iran, southern Turkey. And the world's changed a lot. It's set, 75 years in the future.
Okay.
But climate change has changed geopolitics. We've had a few pandemics and more economic frustrations. So the world's the same, kind of. You've got banyan trees growing in New York, kind of a thing.
Okay. Little Planet of the
Apes.
Apesy?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
But, the thing that I like is thinking about it in terms of setting back the clock politically. We've got the medieval ages, for instance. We had societal collapse with the fall of the Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And humanity survived. They had to change how they did things and so forth. So this is the same kind of thing. But with all of her ties severed, she had served as a soldier. Side note, the Peshmerga is a fighting force of the Kurds who have no nation. And they actually have an organized military, which has female-only units.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
They were actually instrumental in some of the war in Iraq over the last 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So,
I had no idea.
Yeah. Oh, they're fascinating. I love because, in Muslim culture, if you're killed by a woman, you don't go to heaven.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
That's
the big advertising campaign for the Peshmerga was, haha, you guys are afraid of girls.
Love that.
That's awesome. All right, so you have this gal. We're 75 years in the future.
Yeah.
And it's the future from here. So it's not some non-alien future. We're going from here.
We haven't met anybody from somewhere else. It's just us doing what humans do, build it up, tear it down. But she ends up, having to do a massive reset. She loses her family, she loses her town, and goes out into the desert to die. But, that survival instinct kicks in, and she ends up getting bored essentially and walking out of the desert 2 years later.
So that survival instinct killed us.
She finds her way to North America, where she has some extended family, gets back on her feet, and does what any young person with a car does. She goes on a road trip, and
I love it.
She accidentally gets in the middle of an assassination attempt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
You got a question.
And because of that, she's given asylum in this person's country, which is GireSun Island.
Okay.
It's an island community that is, it's a man-made island. I should say woman-made island. But they're kind of wanting to become a nation, and there's a whole process to getting nation status. You have to be sponsored and all this. That's how it works today. And
I didn't even know that.
so
I'm feeling really dumb right now.
it's very sneaky in that it's education.
Love it.
I live for that.
Yeah, I like sneaky education.
Exactly. Okay, so they're doing this. Their neighbor is Confederated States group in South America.
Okay.
And they're going through their own political upheaval. And the son of a drug lord ends up campaigning and uniting all the different factions who were suppressed by the previous regime, and becomes, the emperor of this new South American group, who then decides that, well, all of those women have these nice pieces of technology and so forth, and they're just women. Why don't we just go take it? And then they find out that that's a really bad idea.
This sounds like a really fabulous book.
Yeah, thank you. They get their butts kicked and turn tail, and you've got a lot of better supporting characters that I'm not touching on just because I want people to
read the book.
I am super excited to read it. We have a viewer that commented saying that after reading the synopsis, they think it could very well be made into a movie.
That would be awesome. I would so love that.
You never know.
I know. If anyone knows Brooke Hentz out there, I would love for her to be in the movie. She's amazing.
All right. I did write down. I want to make sure I touched on everything. Okay, I think we went through how much of your actual life experience informs your fiction.
Oh, just about everything. There was I love cheesy movies. I'm a big fan of Mystery Science Theater and so forth.
Yeah.
There was a movie in the 80s called Condorman.
Yes.
And it was about a comic book writer and artist
I
who
love that movie.
would not include anything in his stories unless he could actually do it.
Yes.
And that's kind of the way I took it. I'm like, well, I've got a character who has the scene where they throw a knife. So I don't know how that really works, so I'm going to learn. So
nice.
In the backyard.
I did see you could throw knives.
He's like, and I learned it so that I could write about it.
No, but I like that.
Yeah.
I do. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with picking locks. You see it in the TV shows and movies, and it's like they sneeze and the door opens.
Yeah.
Like that can't be how that works. Otherwise, locks are pointless. And so I learned how to do that, and I'm like, now I have that tactile memory that when I'm writing, I can say, this is how that works, and some truth to it.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
Yeah. Did you really learn how to hypnotize someone?
Oh yeah. I actually have a certificate, and I'm on a registry and everything.
Wow, that's fantastic. He's got us all hypnotized. Can you tell? Buy the book. Jinx. Okay, I want to know, did someone in your life, an actual person, inspire your main character?
Only one? I would say if I had to choose, I could get about 5 people into that.
So she's a compilation.
Yeah. It's not anybody's biography. But my wife served in Afghanistan. My sister served on the other side of Iraq when I was there. I served with a lot of women who were just excellent soldiers and mothers and every other niche role you can put women into where men don't belong. And they were always impressive and always made me feel like that Y chromosome is actually a defect.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
And so is that what inspired you to make your main character a female, or did you just feel that females had more conflict that you could write about?
Both. Honestly, in the end, we're all human. And I think a lot of the national conversation right now is highlighting that, we all experience the same things and we handle them differently. And there isn't a gender stereotype that handles it exactly the same everybody's way. But by and large, I think women have more challenges to overcome in our society, especially if you look around the world.
Yes.
By contrast to some of the places I've been, America is very egalitarian. Not everywhere, but plenty.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I hear you. I do. Crap, I had a really great question went out of my head.
Oh, damn it. I hate it when that happens.
I know, right? She'll follow up, though. Just gonna pull it out.
I'm trying.
Okay, so, did you find it difficult to get into a woman's mind and write from a woman's perspective, being a man?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And it's not as easy as the quote out there, God, what was, of course, now, I'm having the brain fart.
I'm not gonna keep passing. I was being quiet because I was holding it for everyone.
She's holding the fart.
And just let it slip, and that's all.
And now it's passing around. I'm so sorry.
Jack Nicholson played a character, and I cannot remember the name of the movie right now, but he played a writer who was a romance novelist and made huge amounts of money doing it. And somebody asked him in the course of the movie, what makes you write so well as, for women? And he says, well, I think about what a man would do, and then I take all the parts that make any sense out of it. And I'm here to tell you, anybody who wants to do that kind of gender bending, it's not that easy. I actually, I couldn't have done it without the support of several very, very, how would you say, diplomatic women who held my hand and made sure that I didn't screw up too bad.
So you got women-splained a bit. Well, thank goodness you had them, because I'm very excited about this. I think I actually covered much of it. I am curious, though. Well, I think I know the question. You talk about in your bio about a game you used to play as a child, and that's what got you started in making up stories and doing all those stories and actually getting into fiction writing. But you started off as kind of a reporter, didn't you?
Yeah, I did actually. I wrote stories like any kid does, but I noticed early on that a lot of the hard parts came easily to me compared to my friends. When I was in the Army, I happened to have a friend of mine who worked in the publicity office. Okay. And I said, I'm not sure what I want to do after this, but I've always enjoyed writing. Could I try it out writing for the base newspaper? And she said, somebody who wants to work for free, yeah, we'll have you.
Right?
Right. And so go find something interesting, write me 500 words about it, and we'll talk. And so I did, and coincidentally, I went and talked to some people about Turkish coffee. The Turks living in Germany are really, again, that low person on the totem pole. And they have numerous coffee shops, and they're just right there within walking distance from where everybody lived. And so I went and tried them all. And besides having the jitters afterwards, I was able to talk to people about not just the coffee, but their role in German society and so forth. and it turned out to be a really well-received article. The local German paper actually picked it up as well. So I got my first article in 2 different languages. Neither of them paid. In fact, I even had to buy the copy myself, but it was interesting at least.
Sorry about that. I was doing a little bit of technical adjustment. And I was listening, I swear.
No worries.
So
no
that
kidding.
your first
After I won the
exposure
Pulitzer for that.
with did you really? Wow.
No.
Just making sure I paid attention.
Exactly.
So the whole coffee interview, was that your first experience actually having with Kurds and all of that, and is that what really got you?
It is.
Were you already thinking about your book at that time, or was it something you thought of later and then you're like, oh, I can use that experience?
No, it was more the second. Like a lot of introverts, I've written a lot more than I've published. My first book, Manuscript, was when I was 24, and it was ungodly, like 120,000 words. Right. And I enjoyed the process. I realized I didn't have much talent outside of being able to fill in blanks and write a story. It wasn't very good, but a lot of people thought it was worth investing in. Like, you should really go and do something with this. But I knew I needed to hone my skills. So that's where the newspaper gig came in from. A lot of really well-known authors like Ernest Hemingway started off as Johnny on the spot for a newspaper. Yeah. So that's kind of what drove me to that. Plus, Denzel Washington talks about making your own luck, and that it's mostly just being prepared so that when opportunity does arise, you're the first in line. You've got the skills already.
That's a great.
And that's all I was doing.
That's great advice. So then COVID hit, and you guys got moved to Hawaii. I know I kind of jumped there. But COVID hit, you guys, your wife, who was still in the Army, you were out of the military at this point, right? She gets transferred to the Hawaiian base. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's really nice there.
Really rough. If you got to spend all your time somewhere isolated, why not the most isolated place in the world?
Exactly. Yeah. But it wasn't on your radar to start writing. Was it a writing competition or?
Yeah. Funny story. I got introduced to somebody who was doing a writer's class over at Georgetown University.
Okay.
And it's one of those where you do the little interview and they tell you whether they want to have you come in or not. And I did. And I didn't think I'd make it in, but I did it anyhow because, why not? And then we moved.
What are they going to do? Say no? Okay.
I know, right? Oh, boy. To break my heart. So I got here and I literally had a call from the person who's running it and said, are you interested still? I'm like, I weighed it in my head. I'm like, I just moved. Our stuff hasn't even shown up yet. I'm in graduate school and teaching our 2 kids.
Oh, goodness.
In the middle of a pandemic. Yeah, what's one more thing?
Sure, do it.
I'm like, I'm not doing anything important. So, yeah, it was one of those opportunities like I was just talking about. You got to be ready when and if it hits and make your own magic. So.
Well, we're very excited that you did and that you actually got through it and wrote the entire book. And then was there a process where were they guaranteed to accept it, or did you have to go through this and then maybe still not get accepted?
Yeah. The prize isn't getting published. The prize is getting the opportunity to pitch your manuscript.
Nice. Okay.
Right. So you get through the program. They tell you if you're ready or, if you need to be second string. And the nice thing is that if you go that far and you didn't quite make the grade, then they'll continue working with you. It's not a, a white and black kind of thing. It's,
you're out of here.
You're not there. Yeah. Now it's like, you're not ready for prime time yet. We'll just pump the brakes for a couple months and help you out. So I actually got picked up right away. I was really surprised, actually. Not because it wasn't good, but it wasn't like ready yet. And that's when I learned about editing, right?
Yeah, anyone who's ever had an editor gets this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote this thing under the guidance of a developmental editor.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And that was great. Having that feedback and that ability to revise from an audience perspective was huge. I made, a quantum jump from where I had been because of it. And then I've been working with several editors since then through the publisher, New Degree Press, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Top-notch people who bring their own perspective. You get in kind of an echo chamber when you're locked in a room writing all day.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like it wouldn't happen, but
no, never.
Yeah, go figure. So they've been wonderful, helping me out, making sure I'm staying on task, but also giving me feedback. Like, this jump was really abrupt. What happened to the intervening 2 weeks in the story? I'm like, oh, I forgot about that.
You like that question I just did.
Yeah. So 3 sentences later, they slept for 3 weeks. No, it was.
I love it.
Right.
Yeah. So, when exactly is your book coming out? Because we all now want to get it. We're all dying to read it.
Outstanding. I love it. I hope that when I say it's out, then we can talk about that or put it up for everybody.
Yes.
Right now, and 2 weeks ago, I found out that it would been delayed a little bit for the hard copies coming out.
Okay.
So take this with an asterisk, like kind of like Barry Bond's record. The ebook should be out August 27th.
Okay. That's
all
awesome.
Right? And I'm cutting cost on it for the first month. It's only going to be 99 cents. So, fancy. Instead of a frappuccino, get a latte and a book.
Yeah. I'm liking that plan. And
then the hardback should be available through Barnes & Noble and Amazon in the middle of September.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
Never mind. Just kidding.
Okay.
Just kidding.
She thought she found it.
No, I did find it.
Oh, you did?
Ignore me anyway.
Ooh, she found the book. She Googled that.
Wait, it's out now?
No.
Do we not know
something? No, I put the link in the chat for viewers
people to read the synopsis and such.
To follow me.
Yes. So I'm just gonna look real quick and see. I think you covered most of what everybody said. I'm hoping in chat.
Yeah. Someone had said at one point that they got a Narnia vibe.
I saw that.
Nice. Well, I'm in good company then. C.S. Lewis is a bit of a stud, right?
Well, I think so, but I grew up reading him big time, which I'm sure you did as well.
Gotta get the allegory.
I've got a funny story if you want to hear.
Oh, please. We do.
All right. So, no kidding. There I was, merry old England, walking through the Cotswolds with my wife. It's a beautiful sunny day in summer. And I'm like, Cambridge is nice, but what I really wanted to do was find this one bar because C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien used to hang out together with another guy who wasn't as famous, have a couple of beers and trade manuscripts.
Yep.
And, a friend of mine years previous had been a foreign exchange student and had actually had said beer in said bar. And I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if I took a picture now and sent it to him? And we looked all over the place. And the problem was it was also finals week at Cambridge, right?
Oh,
so nobody was around to help, and the place was a ghost, right?
Yeah.
So I finally, it's hot, I'm tired, I'm hungry. Let's just go into this place and grab a pie, And I sit down in a booth, and no kidding, I look up, and there's the frickin' plaque.
That's awesome. That's a great
The bar
story.
is called the Eagle and Child, and the beer's cold, the food's traditional, and drink more beer, it'll taste better.
We have some viewers from England, merry old England, and so if anyone knows, tell me the name again.
The Eagle and Child.
The Eagle and Child. Comment in our
Cambridge.
Discord. Tell us if you've been there.
Right.
Go.
For our English friends, my first big color spread in a magazine was written about mushy peas.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I know.
That's a big cuisine back there, isn't it?
Yeah, it goes with fish and chips and mushy peas. But to an American, that's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
For or against? Are we for or against mushy peas?
I know, I'm not a fan. But...
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm against mushy peas. I'm against all peas. But...
Well, I tell you what, my wife is a real trooper. She absolutely hates peas.
Mm-hmm.
And in my test kitchen, because this was actually a food article, if you know, that kind of makes sense, I guess. But I actually had to come up with a recipe and everything. So that poor woman had to eat like plate after plate of her least favorite food in the world.
Oh, that woman must really love you.
I think so. I think so.
I think she does.
Good.
Right there. You know what? That's the perfect place, I think. And this is on mushy peas.
There you go.
Yeah, so look for John M McKeel's new book, GireSun I knew I was going to butcher it. GireSun Island, coming out in 2 weeks. And thank you so much, John. I just really enjoyed this chat. Is there anything that you want to add, though, that I didn't I didn't get to question-wise, or did we cover it all?
No. I love the new category that you turned me on to with games with the Ameritrash. And I realized I actually have like 6 games. During the break, I went downstairs to take a look in the cubby, and you know, one of my favorites I can never get anybody to play with me is actually Ameritrash. It's the card game Han Solo plays in the Star Wars movies. Disney put out an edition, and I bought it because I love that.
Total Ameritrash.
Right, exactly. I even bought a custom one. It was the game from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I got Pie Show for the family for Christmas, and I'm like, you guys love the show. This will be fun. Nobody has played it. It's still in plastic.
It's on
so
the
thank
shelf
you
of
so
shame.
much
Thank
for
you.
educating me on games. You guys are awesome.
Oh, we have learned. I learned so much just in this discussion, and I'm so looking forward to reading your book and having another discussion once it comes out, because I think that would be really
absolutely
fun.
We're gonna read it. We're gonna have a little book club.
Yes, I like this plan.
All the best.
Yes.
You know, I'll work out a deal where the viewers get signed copy.
Oh yeah, I love that. And he did say viewers get signed copies. I know it got a little splishy there.
Yeah, not shitty copies, signed copies.
Okay, on that, we're going to sign this out. Thank you again. I guess no one really realized, because I didn't say it, that you were coming all the way in from Hawaii. But
yeah, mahalo. It's a long ways to go.
Some people in Hawaii.
We do have some people in Hawaii too. Yes.
Hey, all right.
For our sign off, we are going to blow kisses. Don't be surprised.
Right. So don't get your wife shouldn't get upset. We do. We're like, mwah! Y'all come back now. You hear? Bye.
Maybe. No, I don't got it.
You're gonna get it.